What is going on, fam? Coach Jason here, and in this video I want to spend some time talking about the different herbs for the different ailments. Now you guys have a lot of questions, maybe you have some ailments of your own, and so I want to take my time and just break down a couple of the popular ones that we carry at FitMaster so you guys can understand them. Now, one of the most popular one, of course, is the dandelion. Now the dandelion is responsible for helping to detoxify and cleanse the liver. Now, as you guys know, the liver is one of the major filtration organs. It helps to clean the blood, and if the filter is blocked, it means that everything else will be contaminated. So the liver is really one of those organs that really take a hit, especially if you're not eating or doing lifestyle practices that is really conducive to a healthy life. Your liver is going to take a hit. For those of you who use alcohol, your liver takes a massive hit, right? So you always want to make sure that you keep the liver clean, because once the liver is contaminated, a lot of other issues would start to go off balance. So this is one of the herbs that we use for it. It's called dandelion, and we use the whole plant, the flower, also the roots, and you would use it as a tea. Simply take 1 teaspoon, add it to about an 8-ounce cup and boiling water, draw it out for a couple of minutes, and then you strain and drink. It also comes in the capsules, and for persons who like the capsule, that's a version for it. But it really helps with the liver and by extension the blood. Now, next one is burdock root. You guys would have seen burdock root. Burdock root is primarily a blood purifier. It also helps with your joints, right? So I did read that recently. It also helps with your joints, but its primary function is as a blood purifier. And how do you know if your blood is impure? Well, you will start to see bumps, you will start to see little spots coming out on your skin. Because your skin being one of your largest organs, when the body or when the blood can't get those toxins out through the liver, through the kidneys, through the feces, then it starts to go out through your skin. That's where you would see like all of these weird bumps, weird rashes on your skin. It's probably a signal that you need to do a blood cleanse. For our teenagers, especially eating a lot of processed food, you will see that they have a lot of acne. Now, those acne are not just normal, right? They're not normal. Like you see persons with tons of acne. Oh, just a teenager. No, that's not normal. That is also the body trying to throw off some of the toxins, and it's not doing a good job getting it out through the main expulsion organs, so now it's coming out through the skin. So for a teenager like that, you would definitely want to use something like burdock root, and I would even say maybe dandelion as well, so that you clean the liver, you clean the blood, and then make sure that they're having regular bowel movements. If they're having trouble with that, you may want to add the 7-day cleanse into it, right? So that is the next herb there. Now, a next herb that we normally carry is corn silk. Now, corn silk actually comes from the hair of the corn. So you know, like when we have our corn here in St. Vincent, Grenada, Trinidad, wherever you're at, the hair of the corn, that is actually what corn silk is. So if you have a lot of corn, you can actually use that. And that really helps with the entire urinary system. So the kidneys, the bladder, and the urinary tract. That's the entire urinary system there, or excretory system, I believe it's called. Right? So it helps to clean that. It also helps with bedtime wetting. So if you have kids who are wetting their bed, you may want to add some corn silk into their tea just to help with that. If you find yourself have UTI, urinary tract infection, you want to definitely add some bladder shield. That's what the product is called, but it's made with corn silk, and that would actually help with that. A next product that does the same thing is a product called Herva Ursi. Also helps with cleaning that urinary system. Now, next herb that we carry is the milk thistle, and the milk thistle, they call it the king of all liver herbs. Now, this one helps the liver, detoxify liver. It also helps to repair the liver. Liver is one of the few organs in the body, maybe the only organ that actually repairs itself. So this one helps. If you have somebody have something like fatty liver disease, if you have somebody have a poisoning, then this is something that you really want to add to their regime for at least 30 to 90 days to make sure that repairs. Now, I would also stick a pin for fatty liver. If you have fatty liver, something else that works really good in addition to the herbs is a lifestyle change, specifically intermittent fasting. So you want to try and cut off your last meal by 6 p.m. and then your first meal should be 12 hours or later. Ideally, you want to work it up to 16. So if your last meal is at 6 p.m., then your first meal should be at 10 a.m., but that would be hard for most persons. So you could do 6 to 6, and then 6 to 7, 6 to 8 until you can get up there. That would really help with replenishing the liver. And adding to that, and we still on the topic of liver, is lemon. So we normally recommend, as you guys see, lemon juice, tablespoon of lemon juice to 8-ounce glass of warm water. That also helps with reflushing out the liver. So you add those two together for somebody with fatty liver disease, that's definitely going to help you to get rid of that. And the last herb I'm going to be touching on is wormwood, part of our 14-day spike protein detox. And what wormwood does, wormwood actually does what it says, right? It actually helps to remove parasites from your body. Now, wormwood is not the best tasting herb, I'll tell you that straight off the bat. So if you are a little bit afraid of the bitterness, then you may want to consider taking it in a capsule. And wormwood comes in a capsule, so you can use it, but it really helps with parasite flush. So if you have like a parasitic buildup, wormwood is something that you want to use. Now, wormwood, when coupled with cinchona bark, has a similar effect as ivermectin, which is why we use it a lot in our spike protein detox. And a lot of these herbs, in fact, all of these herbs I just called, are included or is included in the 14-day spike protein detox. So just thought I'd put that in there. But that's what wormwood is primarily designed for, as a parasite, and it works in conjunction with cinchona bark, which is another product that I will come right to. So cinchona bark is really, they will use that for malaria, right? So when they had a malaria breakout, it has an active ingredient they call quinine, and that is what they use for malaria breakout, which is why we add it to the spike protein detox, and it's really used for those sort of viral type infections. We'll use cinchona bark. So this is your herbs class 101. Hope you guys learned a ton of stuff, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Take care. Coach Jason signing out.